Yes, guys, this video is sponsored by Match Bingo. Match Bingo is a sporting twist on your classic game of bingo. So instead of numbers, it's possible outcomes in a football game. So, you can have on your card corners, goals, yellow cards, red cards, whatever it is. And as soon as you tick off a line on your card or you fill your whole card, you could win up to £175. And also, guys, Match Bingo is just capped at £2 per game. So if you're worried about overspending or not gambling responsibly, then you don't have to worry because each one is limited to just £2. It's a fun, easy way to have fun over a game of football with your mates. If that sounds like good fun to you, then make sure you hit the link in our description, download the Match Bingo app, and give it a go. See how you get on. Let us know if you win any money in the comments, guys. But Match Bingo, link in the description to download the app. And please remember, guys, to bet responsibly, and you must be over 18 years of age to play. Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Charlie here with another video. Make sure, guys, you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And today, going to be discussing Mauricio Pochettino. Yes, that man and his future. Of course, still not decided what's going to happen with him yet. But as we're going to dive into the options to potentially replace him, that list is becoming shorter and shorter. Obviously, we're hitting some decent late season form, bit of a resurgence following a tactical switch with Marc Correa inverting into midfield when we're in possession. But could it be too little too late in terms of Chelsea and Europe? And could it be too little too late for Mauricio Pochettino and his job? We had news coming out before the West Ham game on Sunday that a list of managers who would not be taking over, according to David Ornstein, if the position became available. Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim, who was subsequently today confirmed he is staying at Sporting Lisbon. Hansi Flick is a no, which I'm delighted about. Jose Mourinho is a no, and Antonio Conte are 100% no's. I think we kind of knew that Mourinho and Conte were going to be no's. Very much a nostalgic feel around it. People blinded by the past rather than what they are in their current guises and their current suitability to a Chelsea squad, which I couldn't think of two worse managers to inherit this group of players right now than those two. And they're both unbelievable managers, but just not right for Chelsea whatsoever in the club's current guise. Hansi Flick, the less said about him, the better. No disrespect, done very well at Bayern Munich. It was a disaster with the German national team. Definitely not the right figure to lead the club in the right direction. And then Ruben Amorim is the one that, a lot of people have been sort of pining over. Very well regarded coach within Europe, one of the next crop coming through, 39 years of age, done a brilliant job at Sporting Lisbon. They just won the Portuguese title again for the second time since he's been there. And he plays some good stuff. He's tactically switched on. He plays a back three. He's got an exciting brand of football and is good at what he does. And he would have been a lot of people's choice to take over if a position came available at Chelsea. Subsequently, we had a meeting with West Ham, which obviously didn't amount to anything. He was the favourite to take over from Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool before they decided to go with Arne Slot. And now he's going to stay put, and maybe he'll reassess in 2025 when other options might be available. That Chelsea job could be available in 2025, plus many others as well. I think, look, this is where I'm standing at the moment with the managerial situation and Mauricio Pochettino. For me, you only make a change if there's a considerable upgrade available. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I use an iPhone analogy, bear with me. Say you say Pochettino, for argument's sake, is an iPhone 10. You're not going to make a change and go to an iPhone 11 because there's not much difference. But if there was a chance to get an iPhone 15 and you're stuck with an iPhone 10, then you absolutely do everything you can to take that because it's a huge upgrade. It's going to make a big difference. Going from a 10 to 11 isn't really making any difference, much of the same. And I look at the managerial market like this right now with Chelsea, and I look at who's left that could maybe come in. De Zerbi, a massive no for me. I know people are like losing their minds over him, but good up-and-coming manager. But for me, he needs to prove himself more. His side's concede 60-plus goals per season wherever he's been. And he needs to prove that his first season at Brighton wasn't a flash in the pan. And he also needs to prove that this current season wasn't just a blip. We need to see more from De Zerbi, in my opinion. So for me, that's really the only candidate left right now. And even he's indicated his desire to want to stay and continue at Brighton. So I look at the options out there, and there's none, in my view, that are a considerable upgrade on Pochettino and would come in and make a big difference. People still banging the Thomas Tuchel drum is tiresome and boring. The guy is not coming back to Chelsea. The sooner people realise that, the more at ease they're going to be in their own minds. Thomas Tuchel is not coming back to Chelsea, and nor would he be the right fit to come back to Chelsea either in the current guise and the squad how it is. So the sooner people can forget about that, the better. So it leaves you in a situation where there are very few credible options to take over. And if Chelsea were looking at making a change, which they shouldn't do, and I'll explain why, then you're rolling the dice and you're taking another huge gamble. Not only are you taking a huge gamble, you are employing your fourth manager in 2 years of ownership, restarting this project for the umpteenth time. And right now, that would feel like, for me, that would feel like sabotage from Chelsea. People bang on about, Pochettino's only improved in the last couple of games and whatnot. And yes, it's and I said it after the game on Sunday. Yes, it's frustrating how it's taken him this long to implement that tactical switch, which has made a big difference to our performances and seemingly transforms the team. But right now, I look at it and, A, for a lack of credible options, but also B, it's becoming, in my mind, more and more obvious that it would just be complete stupidity from Chelsea to sack Pochettino, just as we're starting to show signs of becoming a pretty decent side. And again, you get the people saying, oh, yeah, but we've only done well in the last 2 games, and a manager shouldn't be judged on 2 games. No, a manager absolutely shouldn't be judged on 2 games. But if I bring up the form table for this calendar year, it paints an interesting picture. I don't know how many people look at this. This was brought to my attention earlier on. And, actually, since the turn of the year, only Liverpool, Manchester City and Arsenal have scored more points than Chelsea in 2024. If that's not signs of improvement over a sort of a 4 or 5 month period, then I don't know what is. Has Pochettino been perfect? No, he absolutely hasn't been. Has he made mistakes? Yes. Has he shown signs that under him for another season that Chelsea would be better next year? Absolutely, yes. Has he shown signs that with key pieces to the jigsaw added over the summer, with returning players staying fit and key players staying fit, that we could perform to a much higher level next season? Absolutely. To only have the top 3 teams who are miles clear of everyone score more points than us in this calendar year to date shows signs of an improvement that is not just last 2 games, but is talking sort of 4 or 5 months. And yes, you can point to, oh yeah, but we played, Sheffield United and Burnley in those games and we didn't win. Correct. We didn't win those games. And there's been, despite picking up the points we've picked up, there have been some poor performances in there, namely those 2. But what you cannot argue with are the cold, hard facts. And the facts are that only 3 teams have picked up more points than us this year in the Premier League. And so that to me shows signs of progress. That to me shows signs of improvement over a period of months now. And there are promising signs for the future. At some point, Chelsea fans have got to stop having this shiny object syndrome and keep wanting, I want this, I want this, I want this, when it doesn't work out. What happens, guys, when the next guy comes in, if a change is made in the summer? Oh, and we've still got the same problems. Are you then going to say, oh, this guy needs to go, and we keep needing to replace all the time because no one's got the patience to wait and accept that a team has to go through a tough period to rebuild? Should we have done better than we've done this season? Yeah, we probably should have done. But if we finish in the top 6, which is still very doable, and I believe we will if we carry on playing the way that we are, with a cup final and a cup semi-final, yes, of course, it's not the standards that we're used to, but can we really say that's a bad season if we finish top 6, cup final and a cup semi-final, compared to what we saw last season, 12th place, out in the third round of both cups? Yes, we did have Manchester City, but the club was just utter carnage left, right and centre. And look, it's still chaotic, but it's certainly far less chaotic than last season. Can we really sit and say that is a bad season? That is a significant improvement upon what we would have seen last year. And now, I'm not advocating that Pochettino is some sort of god and he's going to be the guy that's going to win us titles and get us back to winning trophies and challenging at the top end of the Premier League table. But what I am saying is that in Chelsea's best interests and for the long-term vision of this project, it is not going to do any harm in my mind to continue with Pochettino for another season. That takes him to the end of the 2-year contract, and then you make a decision based on what happens next season then. I think Pochettino will have done enough this season, providing we finish in the top 6, to warrant another crack at things. If we don't finish in the top 6, say we get Conference League or we get nothing at all, I don't know what's going to happen then. But even then, I'm starting to lean towards the sort of the trail of thought that we just don't need more upheaval at this football club, where there's been so much upheaval, so many new players coming in through the door. These guys, have been working under Pochettino for a year, and whether you believe the players or not, they don't have to speak positively about him. Every single one of them speaks positively about him, how they enjoy working from, how he's given them confidence as young players. And whatever you think of Poch, that is his forte, dealing with young players, improving players, and giving them that confidence. And you can't say that players haven't improved under him, because they absolutely have. So for me, I think for the best interests of the club and the best interests of improving the players even more, it makes more sense for Pochettino to stay next season. That doesn't mean that he's had an amazing season, but what it does mean is that he's earned the right, in my mind, to have another crack at the situation rather than tearing things up and starting again, which is just a syndrome that, as Chelsea fans, we've got to stop doing, because it just becomes ridiculous at points. We've got to back a manager through a difficult period, and I think Pochettino is showing signs of positivity that after a difficult campaign, Chelsea are improving as a team, as highlighted by the fact that only Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City have scored more points than us this calendar year. And I think that is something that we can take forward into the off-season, into pre-season, and hit the ground running next year with the right signings and getting key players back. And I think with the tactical changes that he's made, the career inverting into into midfield, then there are reasons to be optimistic. And for me, making a change is just going to undo another season of work and set us further back again. So those are the reasons for me why I wouldn't change. I know people are going to hammer me in the comments and they're going to disagree. That's your prerogative. That's your view, and I respect that. But I think we've got to be looking at this from a wider perspective and think, actually, do you know what? With the options available, it does make sense to continue with Poch for another season, because there's no one better out there that we can realistically get. That is the reality of the situation right now. But yeah, guys, those are just my thoughts on Chelsea, Pochettino, our form being more than just improved over the last 2 games. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, it's always interesting to hear. Big up to everyone. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and peace out, guys.